Hello, I'm Gemma Curtin. I'm the Design Museum curator of the exhibition Electronic from Craftwork to the Chemical Brothers.
Hello everybody, I'm Pier Schneider from 1024 Architecture, artist and designer. So we made lots of things for that exhibition. First is core installation. That was the first ask from the curator, Jean-Yves Leloup. And then he asked us to show other projects like the Walking Cube, the Square Cube, and some video of previous project we've done with Vitalik. And the Philharmonie de Paris asked us at the end to make the design of the global exhibition for the show in Paris. And this design was readapted for London show with in collaboration with All Things Studios.
Yeah. So I was just going to ask you how you got involved with the exhibition. Sort of, is your relationship with the curator a long-standing curator, Jean-Yves Leloup? Is that a long-standing?
Exactement.
Yeah.
We met each other in 2007 when we did this project called Square Cube for Etienne de Crécy live show, which is a classical basic cube, 6 meter by 6 meter, made by a scaffolding system, and on which we remapped video content totally synced to the music. And we made a huge tour, worldwide tour with that project, like more than 7 years of touring everywhere in the world. And for that project, it was the first time that we met Jean-Yves. He made an interview from us about the project. So yeah, it was in 2007. And since then, we became friends, and we discussed a lot about many things: art evolution, technology evolution, music evolution, and so we kept really connected, Jean-Yves and us. And when he started this project of about this electronic music exhibition, a big project for the Philharmonie de Paris, this project was fun because he made it. He started it like 5 years before the real exhibition, and then the project was locked for many administrative and political reasons at the Philharmonie de Paris. And then 2 years ago, the new director of the exhibitions in the Philharmonie said, but that's a good project. It's perfect time to make it happen now. Yeah. So they started again. And then at the really beginning of the project, Jean-Yves came to our studio here in Paris and asked, hey guys, I would really like you to make and to create a specific installation for that exhibition project. And the idea was to make like a central installation that transform all the soundtrack of the exhibition into dynamic light and volumic and dynamic light. The idea was really to transform light into visual and to create an immersive experience for the audience to feel the music.
So the core, as you describe it, this sort of light responsive sculpture, it's at the very center of the exhibition. And how did you work with the soundtrack from Laurent Garnier? Did you choreograph that light installation very closely with the music? Did you? There's obviously a soundtrack to the music that's about 5 hours long, and that has been put together by Laurent Garnier. Did you work closely with him, or did you just have the music and then program the light display to respond to it?
Yeah, good question. We work like closely and not. We made some super important meeting at the very beginning of the project when Jean-Yves Leloup, the curator, asked him to make this soundtrack for the exhibition. And as you mentioned, it's more than 5 hours and 30 minutes long soundtrack. So it's a big soundtrack, a long soundtrack. And he made a pretty good job because he had to make all the story about electronic music in 10 mix, but 30 minutes maximum for each mix. So he has first to select all the major soundtrack for each chapter of the soundtrack. So let's say disco area, disco music, and the influence about disco. So it selected all the good tracks. Then he re-edit every soundtrack to reduce the time, but to keep all the music inside. And then he mixed it, and then he make a specific intro for each soundtrack with sound design about the experience, like for example New York music and so on, New York sound and so on. And then of course we had to transform all the soundtrack into a visual and light choreography. And for that we give us the music, and then we made our job. And of course we make some back and forth moment with him, but it was super open, and he said, man, I know your work, I love your work, so do your best, and I trust in you. So it was really simple. In fact, he give us the music we discussed a lot before, then we make the job, and then we showed him some part, and he just said, let's go, guys.
Yeah. Jean-Yves has described how, he wanted the exhibition to create that sort of immersive experience, that feeling of sort of ecstasy of release that you get into in a club. Do you feel that your installation core helps to create that in the exhibition?
Yeah, we hope so. Of course, but it's not really like in a club. In a club, you are more dancing than listening or watching something. Here, it's an exhibition space, and what we want is to give the feeling of that to the people, and it's more, I guess, hypnotic than dance, make you dance on the song. But we can, at the Philharmonie, we had many people that stay like lots of hours in front of it, and that many people dance at the end.
Yeah,
the installation.
It is very
movement of the choreographies that we made with light, and we made the exhibition. It was touring also in Venice Biennale for the music Venice Biennale, and here we had lots of children coming to see it, and it was crazy because children really follow the choreography of core installation and make the same by themselves, and it was for us super nice to see.
Yeah, it makes you respond very easily. I think it has a very sort of core, intense reaction when you see it. So going back to the exhibition design, obviously you were asked by Jean-Yves Leloup to do the exhibition design of and you have mentioned before how you have used scaffolding.
Yeah.
A huge part of the exhibition is the structure is scaffolding poles. And so what was the appeal of the scaffolding pole, and how did you make it into an exhibition design?
Yeah, so we use scaffolding at 1024 Studio since the beginning. Our first official project was the Square Cube project for Etienne de Précy. It was made with scaffolding. Scaffolding is something that is really used in the architectural world, but also in the festivals and concert world. All of the stage in big festivals are built with scaffolding. So it's perfect. It's the perfect materials to build things in temporary periods, because you rent it and then after you give it back. So in terms of economically, ecologically, for many reasons, it's a perfect materials for us, and we use it in many of our projects. If you watch all the projects from us on our website, you will see a lot of them are made with these materials because it's super easy to build. You can find it everywhere in the world. You don't have to ship it far away. You can rent it locally. So as I mentioned, it's super good materials for all of that reason. And so it makes an echo for with classical stage design in every festivals, and also it's super easy to build a grid. So we use the scaffolding like construction materials to build for that exhibition like a city map, a city grid. it's super close to the like American cities, like New York City is made by block, by grid. It's a urban grid, and we wanted to make an echo to this urban culture, which is electronic music is pretty urban in
Yeah.
terms of where it's coming from. So we make this super classical grid, urban grid in the exhibition space, and people were normally allowed to walk where they want. For
Yeah.
COVID reasons, they will not be able to do that in
Well,
London because something changed a lot since we started that project. So this
yeah,
COVID.
it still has a real sort of bold impact, and I think what it does at the Design Museum is it totally transforms the gallery from a sort of white box gallery environment to something that's quite gritty and tough. And I think that really transforms the sort of the sense of the visitor, and hopefully they'll really immediately go from the street to this environment really quickly. What I was going to say is also, what is electronic music important to you personally, and or is music important in your architecture?
Both. Of course. So I was born in 1977. So we were the first like rave party guys. We did lots of party like that in the 1990s. And of course, electronic music is something that we were born with electronic music. And the music in general is quite important in our work because we are making architecture with this idea of rhythm, of temporality. We make it happen and it disappears. And it's like a music sensation. You are listening to a track and you feel something, and then when you change the track, you change your mood. And so we make architecture in that way, a way that you can really, make it evolve from one track to another one. And so it's pretty connected.
That's really interesting, sort of constructing with light and music.
Yeah.
What is your favorite mix in the Laurent Garnier soundtrack?
I will say the French mix, n'est-ce pas? Parce que je suis français. But they are all pretty good. But French mix is, for me, super good. The German mix is also pretty interesting, and disco because it's poppy and disco.
Yeah.
They are all good. And the last one, because Jean-Yves Leloup asked Laurent Garnier to make 10 soundtrack, which different reference, and Laurent Garnier make the job, and then he had a last one by his own about the future sound of electronic music, and that one is also quite good.
Okay, that sounds good. As well as obviously the exhibition design and the core, you have other work in the exhibition. Can you perhaps give some backgrounds and describe those pieces?
Yes, so quickly, the first that we are showing there, the first work is the Square Cube project that we did in 2007 with Etienne de Crécy. And for that project, at that time in 2007, we didn't get any money to make it, to test it for real. So we worked and we make all that project on a small model, 1 to 10 models, 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters. And we made all the creation of the visuals synced to the music with Etienne de Crécy on that small model. And so for the exhibition, we are showing the models that we used to make the creation of that show.
Yeah.
It's a small model, 1 to 10 scale. And we show also another project called the Walking Cube, which we can perhaps call better the Dancing Cube. It's since that project with Etienne de Crécy in 2007, we always dreamed to be able to make a real physical cube that is dancing or moving. And we thought about it long times ago, and one day we find a solution to make it like with pneumatic pistons. And so we made this cube. It's a 1 by 1 meters cube, and with a pneumatic system, electronic system also, and we made a choreography, and the cube wake up when we pass, when the audience pass close to it, and you wake it up with a little sensor. He see, okay, something coming, and then he wake up, and then he start to move slowly, then to shake, to jump, and to dance.
Yeah. It's that I think it really plays on that theme of the exhibition of the sort of technology and the robots,
Yeah.
and this connection between sort of electronic and technology and dance and people.
Yeah.
So it's a great piece.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, Jean-Yves asked us to show that piece because he wanted to make the reference about the robots.
Yeah.
Robots are super present in electronic universe and imaginary, and it's not easy to have robots. For that exhibition, we asked many robots, like the Kraftwerk robots, who are supposed to come, but they are a bit old, not easy to maintain and to make it work during a 4 or 6 months long exhibition. So that's why he really wanted a real robot to be in part of the exhibition, and asked our working group to make this reference about all the robots present in that electronic imaginary.
Yeah.
But in between each mix of Laurent Garnier, we created also a soundtrack that we made, 1024.
Right.
We called it Reboot. And so it's a 1 minute soundtrack that make like a transition between each mix. And so it's a track called Reboot, and we make a specific visual creation for that track also.
Yeah.
And so it came between each mix, and it cuts each mix of Laurent Garnier like a little parenthèse. And okay, we reboot the track, we reboot the exhibition, and we made one things quite fun and not easy to do is that during this reboot track, all the exhibition video screen visual projection are glitching, like
yeah,
and it reboots like the whole exhibition, and we start again with a new mix.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's not easy to make it happen technically, because we have to sync all the exhibition screens, videos, everything with that track.
Yeah, it's sort of cool. It brings together all the audio visual in the exhibition.
Yeah,
and a kind of, and a sort of that sense of community as well, that everything, it's happening to the whole show. It's great. Well, I really hope that when you come over to London, you'll come and have a look at how it is at the Design Museum.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I really wanted to come before, and I hope it will have a good success, because many people want to dance, I guess.
They do. I think there's a hunger to get out